You ever have one of those feel-good games you gotta play again? Well, Half-Life is one of those games for me. Although this franchise got its start on PC back in 1998 and has since been a staple for anyone when first stepping into the world of PC gaming, almost all of the entries into the Half-Life series have been ported over to home consoles in some fashion. In November of 2001, Valve's Half-Life was ported over to Sony's money-making platform, the PlayStation 2, and Gearbox Software were the ones that ported it over.
For God's sake, open the silo door! They're coming for us! It's our only way out! Oh my God, we're doomed!
And as a disclaimer, while this port includes a whole co-op campaign expansion called Half-Life Decay, I will not be showing it here. Mainly because, even though you can complete it by yourself, I refuse to play a co-op game alone. That is just new levels of sad. If you have had any interest in video games, you may have heard of Half-Life or even played it, or one of the many mods that came from it. This game proved that a first-person shooter can actually have a decent storyline, something that was unheard of at the time. Because before Half-Life, the FPS market was filled with Doom and Quake clones. In fact, I would argue that FPS games with single-player stories were a requirement after Half-Life came out. It wasn't until the release of Call of Duty 4 in 2007 that FPS games shifted their focus to multiplayer experiences. In case this is news to you, you play as Gordon Freeman, who is chosen to help carry out an experiment that goes horribly wrong and nearly kills you in the process. Fortunately, you equip this thing called an HEV suit that makes you nearly indestructible. And after seeing it in action, I think I should get me one of those. I think I saw one at my local mall on clearance or something.
Have you been able to get the beverage machine to work yet? I hope those containment parameters are still nominal. Greetings.
Good thing you got that HEV suit, as well as the mass amount of weapons you'll come across, dude, because, you'll need to kill pretty much everything that comes your way. Whole bunch of weird-ass aliens start spawning and roaming the entire station. Not to mention the good old military shows up and they've been tasked with cleaning your screw-up by any means necessary. But if you've played any of the other releases of Half-Life, you'll see some friendly alien faces like the Vortigons and the barnacles on the ceiling. Which brings me to my next point. Why haven't the Hound Eyes returned to Valve? I could do without the Bull Squids because they literally don't do shit, but the Hound Eyes look so damn cool. And they make a lot of cool sounds. If you guys ever end up making a non-VR Half-Life again, I demand the Hound Eyes make a return. While I'm sure there are minor changes here and there, the layout of each of the levels is identical to the original release. One thing that is noticeably different from the original are the models for the scientists and most of the weapons. A lot of the new models come from the cancelled Dreamcast port that was planned, which also was to be ported by Gearbox. But some of the models, mainly the faces on the NPCs, are exclusive to the PS2 version, which I think they look really good. I used to be kind of a purist and only wanted the PC launch models, but these super definition models, whatever they call them, have kinda grown on me.
That target range time is gonna pay off today.
Other than models, you should have noticed the lock-on crosshair, which does help with aiming on the PS2 controller. But it's not like a full aim assist where if the crosshair is in the diamond, it will be a for sure hit. It's moreover telling you that here is the enemy and try to put the crosshair as close as you can and hopefully get a hit. It really helps with enemies that are in the distance, which I think was its intended use. Although it plays just fine on a controller, even with the jump button being on the left bumper. If you want to, Half-Life on the PS2 does support USB mouse and keyboard, which is cool, but honestly at that point, just play the PC version. Another thing that will immediately stick out for any long-time Half-Life player is that there is loading screens galore in this port. It seemed like every time I turned a corner there was a loading screen. So unless you have the game on a modded console with a hard drive or using an emulator, you better hope to God your PS2 laser is still in good working order. To be completely honest, I thought I was gonna cruise through Half-Life for the review. Played this through a number of times on the PC, but man was I wrong. When the military showed up, which is like the halfway part of the game, I was getting my ass kicked. Especially at the on a rail segment. I don't know if it was because of using a controller or what, but I felt like every time I got shot, it felt like I was getting hit by a truck. But fortunately for me, there is a quick save feature in the game. I think I would have thrown my controller through my TV if it wasn't for that. Which the quick save feature is pretty interesting. Does not save to the memory card as you would think. To do that, you gotta open the mid-game menu up, which takes some time to load. Instead, quick saving only saves to the console's memory. And when you turn your console off, the save is gone. So it's really more like a save state from emulators in that respect. And it's a lot faster than saving to the memory card. Came in handy on tougher segments. At least to my ears, it seems like all the music and sound effects from the original release and the HD pack for the PC are kept intact. Sure as shit wouldn't be Half-Life if they changed those out. Probably like many of you, the sound for the revolver and head crab will forever be stuck in my head. While Half-Life at times may look and run like more game than the PlayStation 2 can handle, even when it seems to be 60 FPS sometimes, for the most part, this really is the original experience on a home console. which I'm sure back in the day was a blessing for some. I could see someone's dumb, nerdy friend from school who won't stop talking to you on how great this new game called Half-Life is, and well, now with your new state-of-the-art PlayStation 2, you can finally experience what he's been talking about. And then, after giving him a swirly and a wet willy, then you can tell him that this other game called Grand Theft Auto 3 that just came out in the wonderful year of 2001, and it blows this nerd shit to pieces. To me, Half-Life has 3 distinct chapters. First one being the accident itself and its fallout with aliens spawning everywhere. Then the second part was when the military shows up to clean house, which the military part is the longest in the game. And then lastly, you are teleported to the alien world of Xen. Xen is spelled X-E-N because aliens are hip and cool. While the Xen chapter is nice to look at and a definite change of pace, it is also kind of disappointing. I don't know, to go from high-octane fights with the military to a calm, almost scenic platforming area is a really strange choice. But don't worry, you'll still be shooting aliens throughout it. While I don't have any evidence to support it, the Xen area feels like it was supposed to be something more than it turned out to be. Yeah, you get a jetpack for long jumping and can see alien plant life, which will never not be cool, but it just feels off. I swear I've read somewhere that this was in fact the case in development, but I do know that Black Mesa Fan remake totally expanded on the Xen chapter, so I gotta give that game a shot at some point. I think the biggest letdown of Xen is the last boss fight with Nihilith. He's basically a giant floating baby. He'll teleport you to platforming areas, cause nothing says edge on your seat combat like low gravity platforming. And he'll fire these missiles that can one-shot you if you're not looking. Once you do enough damage to him, he'll open up his head ready for grenades and any explosives you have on hand. Then congratulations, you just completed Half-Life. Gotta be honest, the boss fight is a weird, disappointing end to an otherwise fantastic game. Half-Life leaves on a massive cliffhanger that thankfully was continued and expanded upon in Half-Life 2 and all the episodes that came later. I still have not played Half-Life Alyx, and I doubt that'll ever happen anytime soon because I don't want a VR headset. Got other stupid shit to spend my money on, thank you very much. But Half-Life, even on the PlayStation 2, is still a great, relaxing time. Overall, it's about the same experience as the PC version, although I don't know about the price for the PS2 version nowadays. As of right now, this thing goes for $80, which is not the price I paid for it a couple years ago. In fact, mine still has the price tag with how much I paid, and it looks like a little under $20 for Half-Life on a dumb, outdated video game console. Sure, I'll take that. So you'll probably want to play this game on PC, because I feel like Valve gives it out for free on Steam at least once a year. But regardless of where you play it, you cannot go wrong with any of the releases in the Half-Life series, because they're all good. Hopefully soon I'll be playing and reviewing episodes 1 and 2, because those are fun in their own way. Which means I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.